In 1956, Castro led rebels on Cuban soil with the intention of starting a revolution. They were met by Batista's defenses, and nearly everyone in the movement was killed, with merely a handful escaping. For the next 2 years, Castro continued guerrilla attacks and succeeded in gaining large numbers of volunteers. Using guerrilla warfare tactics, Castro and his supporters attacked Batista's forces and took town after town. Batista quickly lost popular support and suffered numerous defeats, and on January 1, 1956, Batista fled Cuba. In 1959, Castro had effectively taken over as leader of Cuba, where he remained for the next 4 decades. Castro made radical changes in Cuba, including nationalizing industry, collectivizing agriculture, and seizing American-owned businesses and farms. During the next 2 years, Cuba annihilated the United States and established strong ties with the Soviet Union. Castro transformed Cuba into a communist country. In 1962, Cuba was the center of world focus when the U.S. discovered the construction sites of Soviet nuclear missiles. The struggle that ensued between the U.S. and Soviet Union was called the Cuban Missile Crisis and brought the world the closest it has ever come to nuclear war. Over the next 4 decades, Castro ruled Cuba as a dictator. While some Cubans benefited from Castro's economical and land reforms, others suffered from the food shortages and lack of personal freedoms. Hundreds of thousands of Cubans have fled Cuba to live in the United States. Having relied heavily on the Soviet Union's aid and trade, Castro found himself suddenly alone after the downfall of the Soviet Union in 1991. With the U.S. embargo against Cuba still in effect, Cuba's economic situation suffered greatly into the 1990s.